Hello and welcome to this demonstration of this Apache Ignite dashboard transformation. I'm going to show you how we built this transformation to get our needed data for the top 5 destination landings, which uses flight data of an airport, using our Memcache plugin. So let's get started. The first step is to generate a row with the name chart type string, and the value you want. We choose bar chart F because we have multiple components like those for query components, those two bar charts, and this line chart. This is important in our transformation because on the next step we get our parameters of the dashboard: the selected city, selected airline, start and end date. So every time one of those dashboard parameters changes, this transformation will run in the background. So why is it important that we use the chart type bar chart F column? It is important because in this step we will generate a MD5 hash out of those columns. And if we would use only the parameters of the dashboard, the key would be the same for all of our components. But now that we have 7 components, we need the chart type column, which is different in every transformation. So now we select all of our columns and rename hash to key. So our key is the generated MD5 hash out of our columns. Now we're going to check if the key we generated is already in the cache of our Apache Ignite server. We do this by using our Memcached input plugin, where we provide our key column, the name of the value column that we're going to get, the operation timeout, followed by your Apache Ignite server IP and port. And as you can see, the value is null, which means the key we generated has not yet been in the Apache Ignite cache. So what we do right now is we use the filter rows step to check if our column value is null. Because if it is null, like in this case, we're going to use this part of the transformation. Where we first of all use a dummy step to provide needed information later in the transformation. So if our value is null, we need to generate the value for our generated key. In this example, we take our dashboard parameters and provide them to the transformation executor. It is important that we use the transformation executor to get our needed values, because a simple table input step would trigger every time we run the transformation, even though our key is already in the Apache Ignite cache. Now I'm going to show you the transformation where we build our value for our generated key, which gets executed every time our value column is null. So first of all, we need to provide our rows we got in our main transformation, in this case the dashboard parameters. Now we take those rows provided by our main transformation and send them to this SQL query. We do this by selecting the insert data from step, which is our get rows from result. Every question mark in this SQL query will now be replaced with the value of the row that we defined earlier. It is important that the order of our rows is exactly the same like in our SQL query. So first we need the selected city, the airline ID, and the start and end date. Once we have our dataset from the SQL query, we're going to write this data into one single JSON object. Then we're going to select our JSON column, which is called output value in this case, and rename it to value. And in the last step of this sub-transformation, we're going to copy our rows to result. So the JSON that we get back from our sub transformation would look like something like this. Number of flights with our destination city. So you may recognize that our key column is missing. In this case, we use this switch dummy. We get our dashboard parameters again and merge them with the switch step to get our key column again. So now we just need to select our key and value and use our memcached output step to write this key value pair in our Apache Ignite cache. The last thing we need to do now is to provide our data in a format which the component can read. So we are simply going to extract the information of our JSON string, select our city and value column, sort our value ascending, and use this dummy step, which we will use in our data source as the cattle step name. So once we have our generated key in our Apache Ignite memcache and get back our value, we just need to select our key and value and use those steps to provide our data which our component can read. Thank you for your attention.